No, not Sandy, but she will be on here in just a moment. She's getting the finishing touches here on her announcement. But I'm going to show you around real quick. This is it's a 182-year-old building they call the Mill. And man, the history that's in this building, you just look around and see. Just hold on, let me show you. Words. Just kind of losing. But this old building here is it's going to be the cornerstone of something really big. Something I'm extremely excited for, and I hope a lot of you guys are too. So we're going to go ahead and walk up front here, show you a little bit more of the architecture of this here building. A little obviously old, but you know. But man, just the feel of this building, everything else that's in here. Found Sandy.
I haven't seen you for a while, but I'm glad you're up here now.
I don't remember you.
That's okay. That's okay. I brought you a lot of stuff down there in Roseville.
Yeah?
Yes,
Well, come on in.
And I always recommended clients, and
Yeah, and your name was?
Mike.
Mike.
Yes. And I used to come down there and see if anybody was looking for work and stuff.
Yeah.
And then guys never do.
I'm right.
So.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
Well, Sandy, you're live. I'm gonna move it over here because I just realized you still got that book sitting out there.
Yeah.
But I'll hold it above the line.
That's all right, just taking care of. We just started the renovations at the mill, and one of the contractors is building the back deck, so I gotta get him some money. Let's just say
Because that's what we're doing.
labor for back deck.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I thought there was a warehouse in there.
I know they want to go home at some point, right?
What's
I
that?
said those contractors, they want to go home at some point,
Oh
right?
yeah, no, he's not here. I'm gonna leave this with Lois, because Lois has been my general contractor, or whatever you want to call her. she wears all the hats. She's been meeting with all the contractors out here, getting all the estimates and getting them all lined up. And Mike, of course, has been helping substantially. So anyway, so people are starting to wrap. That goes to Peter. And well, until people start coming in, let's just walk around a little bit. I want to show some of the things that we'll be doing here. And now, obviously, if you want to just scan, this is the inside of the mill.
What her vision is for the mill.
Once everything is restored and we actually open for business, this will be like the boutique area. And then let's go over here. I'm going to show the kitchen. Although the kitchen was destroyed because the roof leaks. So the contractor's already purchased the material for the roof. So he's going to be doing the roof. And then while he's doing the roof, other contractor is coming in and going to redo the kitchen. And so obviously the floor was destroyed and the ceiling because of the roof leak. So we have new, you know, I don't know what you call that, but it's like the snap-on wood. Snap-on wood here. All of these beams and stuff are coming out. And it'll just be like an open air thing. And then they're putting a door in right here. And then built the deck off the back. So that when we do parties and events and things on the back property, this will be like a service door, so the wait staff can, like the kitchen will be used mostly just as a warming, you know, like a warming kitchen, because it'll be like catered events will be done out of here. Although we will be doing sourdough bread, because Lois is going to be hosting sourdough bread classes, like cooking classes and things like that. So, but anyway, you can go right out this. The wait staff can go right out this door. Here, raise that up, and you can see a little bit of the deck so far.
Yeah, there's lumber.
Yep. So
Progress.
So for the inside, this kitchen is the most important component, and that'll be done within the next probably 2 to 3 weeks. I start to finish done. And then
Really wish I would have gotten some shots of this before they started all this. Man, that's a huge change.
I am.
Seen your picture, Jan.
Jan?
Yeah, thank you. Lois is from.
Rose's friend.
Yeah. She bakes the best pies in the world.
Oh, I thought you were going to say sourdough bread. I was going
No,
to
she's
argue
a
with
pie
that.
maker, a cupcake maker,
And the candlestick.
yes,
And then,
that's
you know,
all.
the mill has 2 floors. This is the back entrance, and then there's another entrance at the front door that you can go upstairs. I
I would run outside.
get to the stairs because I broke my tailbone. There's 2 vertebrae. So
I'll show him that at the end of this.
yeah, I don't do the stairs very well. This is the bathroom, but the bathroom it needs a little love. That's all.
Let's not even go there.
It's functioning, but it just needs a little love. Now this is the room. This is the room. So this is the room that I'm really excited about because for those of you that might know, I purchased, it's called the Granary in Imlay City. And part of, one of the buildings that came with the Granary was a 150-year-old barn that had to be torn down. And so we just tore down the barn last week, transferred all the wood over here, and what we're going to do is we're going to spray foam inside here. So I don't know, Jason, can you get a shot?
Yeah, we can see the you
How
can see daylight
literally
through
see
it.
outside. Okay, so we need to be able to occupy this space year round. And obviously we can't heat it if the heat's just going out the walls, right? So this will all be spray foam, and then that barn wood will just go over the spray foam.
Give it the exterior look.
Yeah, and it'll just keep the integrity of, you know, the historical integrity of this building. Now, right here, these back windows, all of these are coming out, and these will be 3 French double doors with a big deck off the back out into the property. And then, come over here. I can't walk back there that far. And whatever, we can get some other, you know, footage, but all the way to the back where you see the tree line, where the, you know, where the trees are all the way back there, that's where the Clinton River is. And this property it's 3.5 acres. So I don't know exactly how much property is on the other side of the Clinton River, but it's about half. So, you know, probably 1.5 to 2 acres on the other side of the Clinton River. And that's probably my biggest announcement for tonight, so stay tuned with that. I'm really, really excited about being able to share with you just the dynamics of what we're planning here at the mill.
It's kind of tying everything together that we were starting with, talking about all the renovations in this building here
Yeah.
that are going to help fund the ones out there.
Well, yeah, so, I mean, we're getting kind of like into my speech now for the night. I didn't really plan on doing all of this, but because we do have, you know, this is actually a live kind of thing. I have people, invited guests coming to the mill, and mostly the people that were invited, these are people that, business owners, you know, and you know, kind of pillars in this community in Almont. So the people that know and love the mill. The mill is a big part of this community. So anyway, just in order, obviously, you know, you can invite everybody, but they would have to travel, you know, a longer way, coming all the way from, you know, down by Detroit, when you can just catch me live, which is, I thought it'd be more convenient. Sit home in your jammies, watch my live stream. Make sure you share this with everyone, because this is my damsel in distress call. And I don't really do the damsel in distress very often. You know, little stuff sometimes that the vets need. I'll be like, hey, we need new sheets, or, you know, pillowcases, or we're out of, you know, whatever, water, you know, for the shelter. We'll do that kind of stuff. But that's just really, you know, the things that the community can participate in. I want to always make sure that, you know, not everybody can afford to just whatever donate a car or whatever, but everybody can do something. So this way, you know, when we ask for those, you know, the assistance online I call them my what do they call it? Action.
Community action.
No.
Or call to action.
Call to action. So that call to action, and those sometimes those are important though. And that like one time I had a veteran. He came in, and I knew he had been out on a job interview. And he came in, and I said, "So, did you get the job?" He's like, "I got the job." We're all excited. And I said, "When do you start?" He said, "Tomorrow morning." He said, "But I got a problem." I go, "What's the problem?" He goes, "I have to have steel-toed work boots. I got to be there at 7:00 in the morning with steel-toed work boots, and I don't have any money." I go, "Not a problem. We'll just do a Facebook shout out. Somebody will help you." And I go, "What size are you? What size are you?" And he's a 14. I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's hard in itself to even find a pair." Anyway, it took 2 hours. Middleton Auto Parts on Gross Spec. Showed up within 2 hours, dropped off a brand new pair of size 14. Thank you again, Middleton. You guys rock. Yeah. Anyway, let's walk back out there. We'll see. Well, this is going to be very cool, guys. We're gonna. Oh, I forgot to mention here. So this room, this will be meeting space. So once the building is up and running, you can book business meetings here. You can have baby showers. Obviously, like I said, Lois wants to do her cooking, her sourdough bread classes. We'll have other artisans in the community that want to rent the space and have whatever other kind of classes that they may want to host. I don't know. But when we have things like once we get really up and running, which will probably be next spring, we'll be booking things like weddings and that kind of stuff. This room will be very instrumental. I'm going to save the rest of that for when I start addressing my guests for tonight. So you got to stay tuned because I still have the biggest part of my announcement. This is the small part. I don't want to say small part because this is a big deal. The mill is a big deal. It's 182 years old. 182. So.
We have a couple more guests, and so I thought we should probably get started at that time. Yeah.
Okay, so Lori,
Have a seat. Yes.
I didn't even know I was in that area. It changed so much.
Hear anybody kicking in the door, kicking, breaking a window. You don't hear it because of the storm.
I'll go over that next time I.
okay, ready?
I'm Lori Bryan. I think I know most of you. I own the mill. Actually rented it from Deb Schumacher starting 9 years ago, and then I bought it a couple years later. And I have to tell you, the minute I walked in here, the very first time, I'm like, I love this building. And Deb had she'd been here for like 30 years, and she did a lot, but there was still a lot more to do, so I thought I could do it. We did some stuff, but it really kind of never came to fruition like I wanted it to. So Lois has been a good friend, and she says, I know somebody that might be able to help you. Might be able to restore the mill the way you're kind of seeing it. And she said she helps veterans. And Jan just asked me if I know any veterans, and my dad was in the Korean War and the Vietnam War. So it was close to my heart. So I'm excited that Sandy's here, and I'm excited for her to tell you exactly what she's going to do with the mill. I think a whole lot of it's like what I had in my head, so I'm really, really excited. I was really afraid that whoever bought it next would tear it down because it's almost 200 years old. It's on Van Dyke. My husband said it's prime real estate. It is. Whoever you sell it to is not going to keep it. So Sandy promised me she was not going to knock it down. So I'm thrilled that she's the next owner. And I'm going to have Lois tell you a little bit more about Sandy's mission, the girl that brought us together.
Okay, so my name is Lois, and I was just really the concierge that introduced two friends together. And Lori needed some help. Sandy is a helper, and so we put them together, not seeing the complete vision or how this was all going to turn out. But I too come from a military family. Grandfather, great-grandfather. My dad was in the Korean War. He was a recipient of a Purple Heart. And my brother after he graduated from college, went right into the service, and then his son did the very same thing. So yes, we really are thankful for the vets, and we know that they're not always given what they should be given, and the kindness and respect. But anyways, so I didn't know Sandy. I knew a little bit about her, but not very well. And I didn't really know about the mission, and then I got invited to come down and cook at the house, at the shelter. And I brought Mike, and I brought my grandchildren, and we had such a good time. We came down on Tuesdays, and we baked all kinds of stuff and made things, and we had a really good time with it. And then Lori and Sandy got together, and we thought, well, this would be a good thrift store. This might be an extension of all of that, and it's kind of evolved, and I'll let Sandy tell you about that. The one thing that really attracted me about the mission is it's necessary and needed, but I've never seen anyone that has such passion and such vision as Sandy. She's the volunteer executive director. She started the mission with her own retirement funds. She's in it, really in it, and she cares about the vets, and she cares with such a passion that it's very contagious. So, and you know, I'm a history person, and I love old buildings. That wasn't necessarily the case with Sandy. So she was like, what about this old building? What? And so this, you know, the mill has seen wars and fires and floods and all kinds of things have taken place, and here we are. And to use it, to repurpose it for something else is really a very special thing that we all get to be part of, because I have a thing about mills, and I say a keepsake mill is you're just the keeper of the things until the next person comes along. These are all borrowed things, really. They don't belong to any of us, and God blesses us with them. We get to use them, we get to do good things with them, and then someone else takes over for us. So I would give you Sandy because she's really special, and you guys already know that.
Okay, I'm gonna take a chair because I have to sit.
She's always laying around.
I broke my tailbone, crushed 2 vertebrae, so standing is usually a problem for me. Okay, so anyway, thank you everybody for coming. Lois kind of nailed it, you know, and let me just explain a little deeper in that, I mean, I too appreciate, you know, the history of this building. I think it's a cool building, but I'm zero focused on my mission of helping the veterans. And I have so much on my plate that it's kind of scared me. I was kind of scared. I'd be like, oh, what am I getting into now, right? And do I even have time to give it the attention that it deserves? Once I made the decision to do that, and part of my decision in acquiring this space was that I was able to, between me, Lori, and Lois, able to formulate a plan that everybody gets to win. And I always say that anybody who knows me, everyone has to win or no one wins. Okay? So we can restore this building. We can save the history of it, make it a viable part of this community again. Because I know, I mean, I'm not from Elmont, but I know that the people here in Elmont love this building. It's their history. So, you know, I'm going to be a good steward of that. I did promise Lori that I would not tear it down. That never, just so you know, never occurred to me. I would never do that. Although, I did acquire the granary in Imlay City, in the 150-year-old barn I had to tear down, which there was no choice. And I said, you know, that I did a Facebook post and said, you know, I have to tear down the barn. You know, it's, I forget what I said.
It's kind of a hazard.
Well, I said, you know, it's an eyesore or whatever, and then the community, like, beat me up on that. Yeah, well, and I said to the one lady, I said, I'm sorry, but no one has paid attention to it at all for 100 years. Okay? I bought the granary. The barn has to come down there's no saving it at this point. But the coolest part of it is that we just tore down the barn in Imlay City and saved the barn wood, brought it here to the mill, and then we're using that 150-year-old barn wood to replace the damaged wood here. So, you know, it saves the integrity of this historical landmark by, you know, being able to utilize still 150. And thank goodness I didn't have to pay for that and have to go out and buy the barn wood. That would have been, you know, deeper pockets than I want to even think about. So, but back to my point is that I realized that with, by restoring this, we could turn this space into a, like a boutique. Not the thrift store like we have in Roseville, the Veterans Thrift Store. This space is too small, but, you know, more of our, you know, items that we would normally sell at the store will come out here, but these will be items like collectibles, antiques, you know, cooler, niche-y kind of stuff in the boutique area. And then Lois, she got me and everybody else in this area hooked on her sourdough bread. It is absolutely phenomenal, the best ever. So we're restoring the kitchen. The kitchen in this building is just annihilated because the roof was leaking. So they've already ordered the material for the roof. So the roof is going to be, the work on the roof will start next week. And then at the same time, we're going to start restoring the kitchen. It needs a new ceiling, new floors, and then all new equipment in there. But Lois is going to be doing some of her sourdough bread out of here. And then she's also going to be hosting classes in the back room. And so classes on how to, you know, teach you to make your own sourdough bread. How cool is that? But I'm afraid that she's going to want to teach me how to make my own instead of her just making it for me.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
In your spare time. Yeah.
Right? As she's spoiling me with the sourdough. And the focaccia. Like, oh my goodness. Amazing. So, anyway, so we'll have the boutique here. And then in this back room, this back space is going to be meeting space. So you can have your baby showers, you can have, you know, business meetings, classes. There'll be different, you know, like different artisans around that might want to rent the space. They have their classes on how to do their specialty things. I have no idea. The potential here is unlimited. So by doing all of that, we all understand that for me, it's all about the mission. So these focused. Did you get it back?
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. Okay.
Okay.
So here's the most important part to me anyway. Maybe not to everyone, but the most important part for me in this whole project is the back half of this property. So this property sits on 3.5 acres, and right around the halfway mark, the Clinton River runs right through it. So Lois was able to connect us with the Amish, and they're going to take the beams from the granary and use some of the wood and build a footbridge over to that back half, so that you can, you know, now that back half is totally undeveloped. And so here's my damsel in distress part, folks. And I rarely go out on this, you know, ringing this bell. Any of the efforts that I've made, I don't want to say I've done on my own, but the money parts I've done on my own. Like when I launched Vets Returning Home, I used my entire retirement account and actually borrowed money 2 months in a row until the community started kind of, you know, helping me help them. Thank God. And then, you know, 3 years ago, you know, I was able, during that next, whatever, 7, 8 years, 9 years, start to reestablish my retirement account. And 3 years ago, I opened the Veterans Thrift Store. And now that at the Veterans Thrift Store, we fully expect to write a check for at least $100,000 from the store to the shelter this year. And our goal is actually 120, but I'm positive we'll get to at least 100. And that's substantial. Now my entire budget at Vets Returning Home is $350,000. So, and my goal is to create the revenue streams reoccurring that, you know, I always say, you know, in case I get hit by a bus or whatever. I mean, I've been doing this for 12 years, and obviously, eventually, someone's going to have to take the helm. I'm not saying I'm going anywhere. I'm not, but I'm being realistic. I'm almost, well, I'll be 67 in a few weeks. And, you know, I just want to make sure that our good work continues no matter what. So the Veterans Thrift Store, we're almost 1/3 there. At the mill, we'll be hosting like weddings and class reunions and all kinds of events here. And, you know, a portion of that income, that profits, will be going to Vets Returning Home. And it's total speculation at this point, but I kind of think that we should be able to pull $100,000 out of here too. So that gives me 2/3 of the way. Now for the most exciting part of this is the back half of this property. In that, and this is where I need help. Renovating this building, I got this. I am out of my pocket. It's my building, my commitment. I promised I would restore it, and that's what I'm doing. But my pockets are not deep enough to do all that needs to happen. And after the obvious mandatory things that needs to be done here, the roof, the kitchen, you know, the things that are making this building deteriorate, we have to save the integrity of the building. It's the next half that my pockets are not deep enough. But what we are intending to do is build that back half out as a retreat for our veterans. And I just want to explain what that's going to look like. So the footbridge going over to the back half, and then there'll be 4 she sheds. In each she shed will sleep 4. It'll be a loft, like a full-size bed on top with a ladder climbing up, and then 2 twin beds. And so there'll be 4 she sheds, 4 teepee-style tent campsites, and 2 tree houses. And then eventually, depending on once we get back there and the build out and all that, maybe we'll add more. But I think that that's probably enough to at least get things launched. This is not just a cool, fun place for vets to go hang out. That although it will be very much that's not the intention. Our veterans, we're losing them. You know, as a community. Well, first of all, we all know as a government, it's embarrassing, the lack of care that we have for our veterans. Billions of our taxpayer dollars are spent on veterans programs. And of our taxpayer dollars, these programs are filled just saddled with bureaucracy, incompetence, and corruption. And even though there are some very, very good organizations like Vets Returning Home, the nonprofits that receive no government funding, that were not caught up in all of their bureaucratic policies, there's not enough of us to make the kind of impact and be able to really provide the help that our veterans need. And out of all the work that I've done these 12 years at Vets Returning Home, we've housed over 2,500 homeless veterans at our facility. And I've always, I came into it very cocky and arrogant. I was going to be the one to come in and show them how it's done. You know, identify the issues and then address those. And my intention was to fully, I expected to be sitting on the floor of Congress, you know, and giving them the right answers on what they should be doing. And even though I've had numerous opportunities to do that, I've always passed because I never had the right answer. All I could do at this point is go to Congress and tell them how awful we are and how much we failed. I didn't have a solution. Okay, I have a solution now, and this is why this retreat is such an important component. Is I had I was going to say the pleasure, but it's not the pleasure. It's almost like a I don't know, divine intervention, I guess. God led, all right? But I met through one of my board members. My board member lives in Arizona. And he went to a gathering, a party, his former boss, in just outside of Nashville. And so he got to meet this couple. And the husband is, which I think is the cool part is, he's the guitar player and songwriter for Art Garfunkel. I thought that was kind of cool. And I told my grandson that, and the first thing he said was, he's 22. I thought he would be like, who's that? And the first thing he said was, hello, darkness, my old friend. He knew exactly who he was. So I thought that was kind of cool.
It's a big song right now.
Yeah, it is.
And then, his wife, Annie, she is an author. And so my board member said, you've got to meet Annie. You have to meet Annie. You got to talk to Annie. So Annie and I connected. She actually came up. She lives just outside of Nashville. But she came up a few weeks ago. And I brought her here. I took her on a tour of everything. You know, the shelter where the homeless veterans live. We stopped in at the store. We came to the mill. I took her to the granary first. Showed her the granary, and that's going to eventually become our donation center for this end of town. And then I brought her here, and I expressed to her my entire vision of this. And the importance of Annie is that she has identified and came up with the solution to helping our vets heal after they complete their term of service and they're discharged. And I will tell you this in a nutshell. My 12 years of experience tells me these guys, they joined the military, they pledged their life because they're warriors, they're soldiers. That's who they are. And then all of a sudden, they're not that anymore. You know, our government used them up. You know, some of them, they got discharged because they're now disabled and they can't be that soldier anymore. Some of them, you know, they did their 4-year commitment. You know, they fulfilled their 4 years, but they still came home and they didn't realize when they got home that they would be so totally lost. So, probably the biggest feedback, because I always interview, I personally interview every new veteran that stays at Vets Returning Home, and I always ask them, you know, give me the nickel version in a nutshell. What most issues brought you to crisis? And the one thing that I hear the most of is that they'll say, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, and some of them will say, you know, nobody's telling me what to do. And realize that they, you know, before they went in service, mom said, get up, get dressed, make your bed, dinner's at 6, you know, be home by 11. And then Uncle Sam told them right down to the color socks they were going to wear, you know. And then they went through all of that training about you're a warrior, right? You're a soldier. And they own it in their core. They own it. Now they come home, and who are they now? And I have been one-on-one. I tell them things like, who do you want to be? You know, what do you mean, who do I want to be? Decide who you want to be. Figure out who you want to be, and then walk the walk. I give them the analogy of like a debutante going to finishing school. When you put the book on your head, you know, you walk and turn and walk and turn, and you got to balance that book. If you walk and turn so many times, you can take the book off, and that becomes your walk. So I express to these veterans, you decide who you want to be, and then you walk the walk until you make it. It was my way, in a layman or lame, I don't know, way of expressing what Annie has put together, not only in her book, but now she's doing seminars across the country, and it's about purpose. If we don't have I know what my purpose is. I know what it is. I'm doing God's work, you know, that's my purpose. And my purpose just happened to be veterans. That's my main purpose. It's making a difference in general in the community, and I love being able to participate in things like this and still make it a win-win for our veterans as well. But Annie and I, after many conversations, Vets Returning Home is going to partner with Annie. And so we're going to be, Vets Returning Home is going to be helping facilitate some grant opportunities for veterans from all over the country to be able to participate in these seminars for free, because a veteran will never pay for this. And this will be their kind of headquarters. And my hope is that if we can get this retreat built out, and I'm a think big, go big or go home kind of person, but I fully expect to do the build out. Once that build out is complete, we're going to host our first retreat, and I expect Pete Hegseth to participate. So when Pete is here, sitting around the campfire in a PTSD group, meeting with the therapist and his brothers, and then, you know, the next morning they get up, they have their coffee and some breakfast, you know, and then they come into the back room in the meeting area space, and they do the seminar. Once they complete that seminar, I guarantee you Pete Hegseth, he's going to get it. He will know exactly what's happening. And then Pete's going to walk me into Congress. And the goal at Congress is that the veterans, every veteran, actually every person who doesn't know their purpose should take this course. But our veterans are especially lost. But more importantly, we got to start helping our veterans before they're veterans. Once they get their discharge orders, we already know when they get home, they're going to be a hot mess. Why can't we address that before they become one of the statistics of the 1 in 22? Or by the time they find a place like Vets Returning Home, they're hanging on by their fingernails. They're at the bottom. They're a hot mess. And it's so much, I don't want to say easier, because none of it's easy, but it makes so much more sense. Give me these soldiers before they're so broken, before they've just been beat down to the point where they don't want to go on anymore. You know, help them before they're so hurt. So with that said, I'm just going to throw it out there. All the renovations on this building, the stuff that has to be done, will be done, and it will be done by October 15th. I intend to have an event here, and it will, Lois and I have talked about it, it'll be the 12th anniversary of Vets Returning Home, so I think it's just appropriate. So we're going to have this event here. Now, will every single thing be done on the mill? No. The cool, fluffy stuff to make it, like, really pretty, you know, we'll probably have to wait. I mean, unless somebody is truly just philanthropic and, you know, wants to help. but that's not my ask. My ask is I desperately need help on the retreat. My pockets are not deep enough for me to do it on my own. And if I have to do it on my own, I will. It will be done. But if I have to do it on my own, we're looking at probably 2027. And I'm telling you right now, our veterans don't have that much time. We are losing. The amount of dysfunction is all I can say. And I don't mean to be insulting to our veterans or whatever, but I see the brokenness is getting substantially worse, not better. And in society in general, we all know since COVID, the hell that we've all been through, you know, the fake news and all the drama in the world and all the fear mongering and everything, it's affected every single one of us. I don't care how strong you are. You know, it has affected us all. But our veterans who were already struggling then got to deal with COVID. And let's not forget the withdrawal from Afghanistan, because that was the first, like, jaw-dropping, what I saw live, the deterioration of the, whatever you want to call it, mental health of our veterans. Those that were already struggling are just now, it's more than I can do. More than, you know, just having a roof over their heads and a bed and food, you know, and the basic essentials, that's great. And I don't want to wait until 2027. Our veterans deserve our help now. And so I need help. I started a crowdfunding campaign. It's at GoFundMe. It's Save the Mill, Save the Vets. And just so you know, I want to make it very clear, okay? I bought this building. I own it. It's my personal asset. The mill will become an opportunity to create revenue for the veterans. I will never take a dime out of it, ever. Just like I don't take a dime out of the store. I volunteer at the shelter. You know, it's not about that for me, right? But, and I don't really think that it would be fair to ask the community, hey, pony up a bunch of money to help me increase the value. That's what I was looking for. The value of my asset. This is my burden to barrier, cross the barrier, whatever you call it. So, and I'll get it done. And I'm not complaining about that. But for the back half, so I am doing a long-term lease with Vets Returning Home. So Vets Returning Home is going to lease that back half of the property from me for $1 a year. So the build out, if anyone can help me get this done through the GoFundMe crowdfunding campaign, I have different, you know, like...
Give, send, go.
I'm sorry. Give, send, go. Not go fund me.
Go fund yourself.
The Canadian truckers, that was awful. I don't trust them anymore. Anyway, give, send, go. Save the mill, save the vets. Give, send, go. So because it is a Vets Returning Home build out, whatever you can contribute, $25 to whatever, is all a tax deduction. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, so and there's different levels. I mean, any amount obviously helps, but I do need some heavy lifting. You know, like for example, the footbridge. I'm figuring that's going to cost right around $7,500, and so my brilliant idea was, how about you sponsor the footbridge and we'll name it after you. So build your own legacy, right? And, or, you know, we can name the she shed, one of the she sheds, or a teepee, or a tree house, or whatever, right? Now, with that said, that's really the end of what I have to say, but I have one more issue. And I still haven't figured out how to deal with this, in that in order for me to truly launch the retreat, I have to have a bathhouse. There is no infrastructure on that back half, nor will there be. You know, like, I'm not putting plumbing back there. City water is not going to be back there, right? So I need a bathhouse. The bathhouse has to come on this side. And there's a space that we'll be building out as kind of an addition on the back of this building. And it's expensive, and it's not in my budget this year. So in that regard, if somebody wants to help me build the bathhouse, that's really what I'm praying for. That the weight, the thing that I go to sleep at night thinking about is like, how the hell am I going to build the bathhouse this year? Because it's not in my budget. I have to do the roof. I have to do the kitchen. I have to finish that back room. I have to redo the porch. You know, on and on and on and on and on. Those things have to be done. And I have all the confidence in the world that the community, the viewing community, and throughout all of our social media and through this crowdfunding campaign, I know how much, at least my followers, love and support our veterans. So I have no doubt that this will get done. I just don't know how to do the bathhouse. And because whoever helps me do the bathhouse is not going to get their charitable donation receipt. You can have all the bragging rights. We'll name it after you, your wife, your kids, your grandkids. I'll put everybody's name on it. But it would just have to be a thing from the heart. Because like I said, it's not something it's not a VetSearch, because it's attached to this building. It's not part of the lease. It's the mill market. But anyway, anybody have any questions, or is there anything that I missed? Or
This is a historical building. Can you apply for any kind of grants to restore it?
I could. I could. Now, here's the thing.
No, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
But also, doesn't Almont want this building? Okay, you already covered it. Okay.
We should have better one because it's a nonprofit.
Yeah, one, I don't have time to do all the research. Two, I don't have time to deal with the grant portion, because you spend all this time researching it, then you write the grant, then you wait forever for them to decide if you're going to be awarded. And a lot of the grants are, $5,000 to $15,000. And not to say that that's not substantial, but kind of what I was thinking is that, I'll do the heavy lifting, and then I'll apply for grants to do some of the restoration, like the wagon wheel right out there, the water wheel. It looks like a wagon wheel, but it's for water.
We know this is a mill.
Yeah, it's that can be restored and made beautiful, like turning this like a garden area. And I think that's probably, I will apply for grants, but it'll be those things that we don't have to do right now.
One other small idea is all the artisans that rebuilt the White Horse Inn.
Yes.
Have any of them been interested in helping out? Have you reached out to any of them? They're pretty amazing.
Yeah, they are very amazing.
They love to do
It's
that
a good
sort of thing. So it's just another thought.
Fill me in on what that is about after.
Yeah, it's Metamora Days this weekend out at Metamora.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Well, I have a few. Have they included this now in the DDA?
Yeah, well, it always has been.
Well, no, it stopped because of the bridge.
Oh, no.
And then
it was.
they were trying to get it extended to this side of the bridge.
Yeah, it was the whole time I was here.
Okay, so you were able to be part of the DDA, so that's a plus.
It is a plus, yeah.
The historic issue, because I'm on Main Street, when you do that, then they start dictating what you can and cannot do. You can't change your doorknob. You can't change the color. You
It's
can't
like
do
Romeo.
anything.
The
You
whole
don't.
historic thing.
You have to be very cautious when you do that, which is why I never did that to my house on Main Street. The people on St. Clair are in the historic district, and they're really sorry they are, because they can't do anything. Their hands are tied.
There's a reason we don't have government funding. Now there's a reason we don't have those grants.
I absolutely, totally relate to that. And like Jason just said, you know, it's part of why Vets Returning Home chooses not to be a recipient of government funding. I don't want to be all caught up in all the bureaucracy that because it just becomes inefficient. And, you know, I don't have time. I just need to get it done and make it happen. So we're going to take the path of least resistance, but we're also going to do it right. So, and I'm a bull in a china shop. So I'm a pit bull. When if it needs to be done, it will be done, and I'll run over whoever to make it happen.
So, Sandy and our paths have crossed several times over the last umpteen years, but she's so busy and meets 1 million plus people, so she doesn't really remember specific things. But that's okay. But I have referred people down there. But one thing I learned from her is when I see, because I don't know why, but every time I see somebody on the corner, veteran, homeless, I always stop. And then Sandy says, no, you have to get this information from them because they're not really veterans. They're just playing the system. They're just playing.
Yeah.
You know, she's asked them this question, and if they can't answer it, they're not a veteran.
Yeah, like we asked, like, what was your MOS? And if you're a civilian, you don't even know what an MOS is, right? But a veteran knows what an MOS is. You know.
But I know there's a need because I have housed at least 6 veterans since I moved up here, who have been living behind the Walmart in Lapeer, who have been living in their cars at the rest area, who have been living in the woods, you know, somewhere.
Our veterans are in trouble, and there's no easy fix. And organizations like Vets Returning Home, no matter what we do in government, no matter what we do in, you know, the private sector and in, you know, the 501c3s, we're always going to have veterans in crisis. They're always going to need our support. Obviously, they deserve our support more than any other segment I can imagine. Maybe children, you know, right up there with babies. But yeah, it's not. The veterans are always going to be something that we're going to hold close to our hearts. It's not going to be fixed anytime, not in my lifetime anyway. But with that said, that's really all I have, guys. I need you to go to Give, Send, Go, right? Give, Send, Go. Save the mill, save the vets. Help me do this. This is just one project that I can honestly say I can't do it all by myself. I can't do it all. I need help with this one. And this, ironically, is probably, I'm sure, I don't want to say probably, this retreat is the most important thing that I can honestly say that that I've done. I believe in the retreat more than I believe in the necessity of the shelter, because we can fix it at the core. We can fix it before they become homeless, before they become broken, you know, and that's getting that retreat up and running, get our veterans around the campfire with the therapists and their PTSD group, and then get Annie in here, which Annie will be coming and doing seminars here probably annually. She's not going to be here every weekend, she's going to be all over the country, right? But she'll be doing retreats here regularly. And the most important part is Annie and I sitting down with our elected officials and making them see the reality of what has to happen and what this really brings to the table for them. So I'm excited about the future of what the mill has for the community, for our veterans. And, you know, as much as this is costing me, this building better last another 200 years. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Thank you all. Anything else?
Yeah, in September, Almont has their big Heritage Homecoming Festival. It draws a lot of people. You're familiar with it, right, Lois? No?
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
They
didn't
blocked me off.
Yeah, they blocked you off. But there's a lot of
There's a lot of foot traffic. Yes.
But to have a table or a booth or something out there
Yeah.
to make people aware of it. There's a lot of veterans attending that thing. I mean, we attract, what, a few thousand?
Oh yeah.
A few thousand people that Saturday. I know I can't get out of my driveway either. But fortunately, I enjoy it for that one day.
Well, I would like to say for everyone here that came, obviously some people came because you care about me and want to help me and help me help the vets. And some are here because maybe you didn't even know about my work with the vets. You came because you want to save the mill and and that's all good. But I need funding to do the back. I need, volunteers. Once we get this launched, there'll be great volunteer opportunities. And in between that, I need people to help me get the word out, get the message out. So obviously we're live streaming tonight, so if you can leave your email addresses or whatever, or reach out to me on Facebook or a direct message or something, and then, we can tag you and you can share the live stream, or at least the, what's it called, the QR code or something for the Give, Send, Go, Jason?
I'm sorry.
The QR.
The QR
link,
code will be.
The link.
The link is in the description of the video, and it's in the comments right now.
Okay, perfect. So.
And it'll be up on the, obviously up on the Facebook page, front and center, pinned.
And we would ask all of you to pray for the mission and for the volunteers and for the vets and all of that, because we know that's very significant.
You know what? I always just think I can do it all by myself. I've been praying a lot, but you're absolutely right. Please pray with me too. Because it's a lot. And it's not just this. It's not, it's not just this. My weeks are jammed. I'm already volunteering 70 hours a week. And, thank you to Lori and Lois, because they're the ones in this area that are going to be doing more of the heavy lifting of the day-to-day, once the build-out is done. So, but if you know of anybody, if you've got connections, friends, philanthropic friends, please share this message with them, because it's important. We all got to do our part.
I'd like to donate, Sandy. So just to go to what's the site again? Is it in the live stream?
It is in the live stream. It's in the description and in the comments now.
Okay.
Somebody dropped it down.
All right.
You'll definitely get a donation from us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get this
Thank
party
you.
started.
Thank you. Perfect.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. Thank you so much. All right, guys, we're going to call it good. Thank you so much for your time. Please like and share. And please go to Give, Send, Go. Save the mill, save the vets. Thank you so much. And let's get some appetite.